Hi everybody, and welcome to video number 24 in my EFT series. And this video I decided to do about helping us to declutter, and it follows on from the video I did for the new year, which was about New Year's resolutions. And I did talk about one of my New Year's resolutions, which was about helping me with decluttering. And so if you asked me, have I actually done anything? So we are halfway through January now, and unfortunately I have not done anything about trying to get rid of any of my clutter. But the first thing is do not judge yourself. Just because it's just we are only halfway through January and you haven't started on your New Year's resolutions, doesn't mean that that's the end of it. We still got another 11 and a half months ahead of us. And you know, a lot of these things is about acceptance, about not judging yourself. And what I have actually been doing is I've been trying to kind of get in touch with the clutter I've got, and I asked, is there some message? So I was really kind of tapping on this clutter. Is there any message you've got for me? This clutter. What message is there? What message are you trying to give me? So while I wasn't doing anything physically about clearing all this clutter, I was trying to kind of get in touch and feel. And yeah, because about the EFT, it's not just about clearing it all. I mean, the main reason is of course to help you clear the things that no longer serve you, but it's also about getting in touch with ourselves. What does this clutter actually mean? And I've been kind of getting to know a bit more, and the message I've been getting myself was that well, the clutter is okay, and some of it can be useful for me and some of it not so useful. And you know, I will be learning to get in touch with, you know, the reasons why it's not so useful. And for many people, you know, getting attached to things and having clutter, not wanting to part and buying more stuff is to do with some kind of trauma in the past. And that's why I try to do these videos in sequence, so that one follows on to the other. And I have done a video in the past about trauma, and you know, if this trauma is severe, I would recommend you work with a practitioner. So let's start to do a bit of tapping about you know, what the clutter means for you. You know, for me, my clutter has been, you know, like I feel a lot of anxiety, a lot of overwhelm. You know, I've got all this clutter growing everywhere in the house and I'm not clearing it, so it's kind of almost like I'm sinking under it. So let's start the tapping on, even though I feel this anxiety about my clutter, even though I feel all this overwhelm about my clutter, I choose to love and accept myself anyway. Even though I feel this overwhelm and this anxiety about this clutter, and for all these years I knew I had to do something about it, and even people tell me that I need to start doing something about my clutter, and I noticed I didn't have so many people come around over the years, and you know, you know, I feel sad about that, but I choose to love and accept myself anyway. So even though I feel all this anxiety and this overwhelm about my clutter, I choose to love and accept myself anyway. So this anxiety about clutter, this overwhelm about my clutter, all this clutter everywhere, all this anxiety about clutter, I know I need to do something about my clutter. That is why I set my New Year's resolutions to clear all the clutter. And I feel anxious. I never started doing anything about that yet. All this overwhelm about my clutter. All this clutter everywhere. And it's growing and growing and growing. All this clutter everywhere. All this anxiety. All this overwhelm about my clutter. So I take a deep breath, connecting to my clutter. And you know, as I'm kind of digging deeper and deeper and trying to find a time when I actually started to hang on to things, when I started to become a hoarder in a way. And you know, it kind of happened since my husband died, and that was now, my husband died, it'll be this January 4 years, so almost 4 years ago. I didn't used to be a clutter, actually, a hoarder, or you know, keeping on to clutter. And actually my husband used to hoard a lot of things, well, not things, but he used to like to have a lot of clothes. And you know, I would always say to myself, oh my goodness, he already got about 20 coats, why does he need another? Or you would have like 30 pairs of shoes, why does he need to buy another pair of shoes? And it came to the stage when you know, my husband had actually clothes in 3 rooms in the house, and in the you know, bedroom, double bedroom we share together, he would take up about 3/4 of all the wardrobe and cupboard space. And you know, I always felt squashed. I always felt like, oh, you know, when I went shopping for clothes, I didn't think I could have had another bit of clothes, because I thought, well, it's never going to fit in. And even my sons wouldn't have clothes in their rooms, they would have it downstairs. I mean, one of the rooms was too small to have any clothes at all, but one of my son's room, actually my husband would put his clothes in there, and then my sons used to store their clothes in the main room downstairs. And you know, like, what happens to you if you become a hoarder and you kind of start taking space for a lot of, you know, not just, you know, the space which is yours, you take up other people's spaces. And you know, when I watched some programs about people who hoard, you know, gradually the friends stop coming because there is no space for, you know, for the friends, and you know, they don't want to come because everywhere is very messy. And actually a lot of hoarders, what they do is they try to fill an empty space. There's some kind of fluff which is lacking, and the things they start to hang on to things is kind of like as if they were hanging onto love. Or if, like, say, a parent wouldn't allow you to have things, and you suddenly say, oh yeah, I want to hold on to it, which was, you know, thinking about it back, was a little bit the case for my husband, because when he was young, you know, his family didn't have much money, so he wasn't able to have many clothes. He only had 1 pair of shoes. He would always say, when I was young, I only did have 1 pair of shoes. And so now he is kind of, you know, he wants to hold on to things because he doesn't want to lose those things. So it's only kind of understandable, you know, the reason why we hoard. And there are all kinds of reasons, all kinds of other reasons behind it, because, you know, we all know that, you know, it doesn't serve us. And we also know that it's actually much easier to go and help a friend to clear things. But you know, it's okay for us to say, well, look, you don't really need this, you can get rid of it. But then actually to that friend, it means a lot of things. So the next setup we could do is, even though all these things mean so much to me. Perhaps it's a memory of a family member who gave that present to me. I love and accept myself anyway. Or even though I got this thing as a present from a dear friend, and perhaps that friend wouldn't be happy with me, perhaps my friend would be offended, perhaps I would lose that friendship with my friend, I love and accept myself anyway. Even though I find it hard to part with this present or with this object, whatever it is, I love and accept myself anyway. And you know what you could also do is you could put that thing in front of you and say, even though I find it difficult to get rid of you, to get, I mean not you, I mean to get rid of whatever that thing is, and I'm not really sure, is there any purpose? Does it serve me? Do you serve, does that object still serve me? I love and accept myself anyway, because with that tapping could help you actually to understand better what it is that thing means for you, and help you to establish, is that something you still want to hang on to, or is that something that you actually want to get rid of? So yeah, so just continue tapping the reminder phrase, I find it difficult to get rid of it. Whatever it is, just insert whatever it is that you find difficult to get rid of. So I find it difficult to get rid of this. I really find it difficult to get rid of this. It means so much to me. I'm really torn as to whether I should get rid of this. I just don't know. What does that mean for me? I don't seem to be able to clear this. Maybe it means something to me. And it is okay to keep it if it does. Maybe I don't really need it. Then I can let go. Letting go of things that no longer serve me. I'm letting go. Or can I let go? So take a deep breath. And that actually reminds me of a time when I was doing a clear out, and I had a big bag of clothes ready to go to a charity shop, and I had it there ready overnight. And as I got up in the morning, suddenly something clicked in my head and said, oh, actually there is one jumper I really like, let me take it out. So that's what I did. I took that one yellow jumper out, and I actually did wear it quite regularly, and I really said, yeah, I love that jumper. It's yellow. Yellow is a color I love. That is a color of the sunshine, that makes me smile. And actually, that is okay. If it's something that serves you, then that is absolutely fine, to kind of have it and not feel guilty about it and enjoy it to the full. And another thing which I would say is that I come to this garden to do these videos, and one of the reasons I do it is because I like to look after my garden, and I keep it clean, and the birds are here, the trees are so beautiful, they give you so much energy, and so I often do come here, and it always gives me a lot of kind of boost, energy, it gives me a lot of energy, and something which I will kind of appreciate as well. I'm able to keep the garden tidy and I look after it, and there is no reason why I couldn't manage actually to do it at my own home. And I've suffered from an illness where my energy levels have been low for years and years and years, and sort of like my excuse is always now I haven't got the energy for that. But actually part of this process, as I'm kind of tapping on that and getting in touch, is that actually that is time for me, and that I deserve this time. Because in the past I would say no, I would always do things for everyone else. So when I'm looking at my diary, there's a lot of, I've got my busy schedule, helping others, and commitments and everything else. And after I've done the tapping, actually made me realize, well, I want to put myself as number one, look after myself more, look after my boundaries, and establishing healthier boundaries. And that is what I will actually do. I'm going to now to put myself as a priority, because I do matter. I do deserve, and as I said, very often people who do have issues with hoarding, their beliefs are, I'm not worthy, I don't deserve. And also it is kind of dealing with some kind of loss, hanging on to things. And for me, obviously it is that, I know that I will benefit from expressing the grief that I hold, the grief I hold for my husband, but not just for my husband, for my father, who now died more than 2 decades ago. And so whatever it is, you're tuning into the deeper issues, then tap on those issues, because you'll find that it's all about you. It's not about the clutter. This is all about you. And if you take the time to get to know yourself and to clear these emotional issues, you will find that actually the clutter is not that important, and that you are able to part with it and help you get the clarity of mind which you want to get. And that is for me, I want, really this year is for me to focus on clearing this clutter, because I know that when I manage to clear this clutter, I will be able to do the things which I want to do, which is to help more people with EFT. So yeah, so just step on the things on the, once you get to know more about what it is which is holding you back, tap on that. So, I will tap, even though I'm still holding onto this grief for my husband and for others, and I know I'm holding onto this pain, I actually choose to let go. I choose to release it, and I choose to love myself no matter what. Even though I'm holding still onto this grief, there's a lot of pain there, and that pain is in my shoulders. I love and accept myself anyway. So even though I'm still holding onto this grief, I love and accept myself anyway. And then just tap as a reminder phrase. And you heard me say that, I've got this pain in my shoulders. And so, yes, do tune in to how you experience whatever it is you've got. So in my case, it is grief. And I hold onto that grief as pain and tension in my shoulders. So tap on that. So tap on this grief, this pain in my shoulder, this tension in my shoulders, this pain in my shoulders, this grief. I'm still holding onto this grief. this tension in my shoulders, this pain in my shoulders, this tension in my shoulders, this pain, this grief. I'm ready to let go of that grief now. Letting go of this grief, letting go of this pain. So take a deep breath in and just watch the intensity of the pain. You know, I mean, in other videos I would ask you to set the intensity of whatever it is, the issue you've got, the pain, you know, the grief, whatever it is which is holding you back, the feeling that you were perhaps not loved. And, you know, watch it, how the intensity changes, and that will be a good indicator for you, you know, what is going on. And as I said to you previously, if the intensity of that feeling goes up, it's nothing to be alarmed about. It doesn't mean that EFT doesn't work, but you probably have been repressing those feelings. It was too dangerous for you to allow yourself to feel. And so say yourself, it's safe for me to allow to feel this now. And you know, one thing is, you know, as I said, a lot of the clutter, holding on to clutter, we judge ourselves. I mean, this is something I found which is quite difficult. I actually don't know quite how to pronounce it. It's a Ho'oponopono meditation. It's a Hawaiian meditation, and it's about loving ourselves and forgiving ourselves, you know, like, you know, loving ourselves. And I often do that with a tapping. And there are just 4 phrases, and they are I'm sorry, I love you, please forgive me, I thank you. And, you know, it's good. That's what I've been doing, and it's really been helping me, because I'm letting go of all these kind of judgments, you know, like, I mean, talking about judgment, there was actually one interesting thing, is that we often feel judged, and people, as you know, as we hoard more, we don't want this judgment from others, you know, to affect us, and so we invite less and less people. But there was one interesting thing, and you know, a couple of my friends, they would say, oh, actually they feel better when they come to see me, because their house is tidier than mine. And I said, oh, that's okay, if I make you feel better, you know, I don't really mind, you know, because, you know, like I always say, you know, where I live is a lived-in house, I love it, and, you know, if I don't tidy things a bit, it's not the end of the world. But I want to do this, you know, this kind of clearing things, I want to do that for me, just for myself, you know, for nobody else, just for myself, because I want that to help me to, you know, sort of like, I know that once I manage to clear my clutter, I will be able to move on to things I want to do. So let us finish this tapping video. Let's round it up with just the tapping on the Ho'oponopono. Still don't know how to pronounce it, but it doesn't matter, as long as you know that it's all about loving yourself and forgiving yourself, and not, you know, not allowing all the judgments to overtake your life. So it's I love you, I forgive you, oh no, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I thank you, I love you, I am sorry, please forgive me, I thank you, I love you, please forgive me, I'm sorry, thank you, thank you, thank you. thank you for watching my video, and see you during my next video. Bye for now. Take care.